Hi, I'm Jack, the Fisheries Conservation Officer at the Shark Trust, and I focus on many different shark and ray species across a range of fisheries. And a group of species that need special attention are the oceanic sharks. But what are they, and why is this the case? Oceanic sharks and rays are species that travel into the high seas, also known as international waters. Here they come into the path of high seas fisheries. And they need special attention because 3/4 of oceanic sharks and rays are threatened with extinction due to overfishing. The Big Shark Pledge is a call for science-based fisheries management for all oceanic shark and ray species. What does that mean? What is fisheries management? And why is it one of the most important elements to protecting these oceanic species? Fisheries management might sound technical, but it's really about one thing: making sure our oceans and the incredible animals in them have a future. We need to picture fisheries management as a cycle, not as a straight line. It's a continuous loop of gathering evidence, using that evidence to create measures, and making sure those measures are put into practice. Let's break it down. Everything starts with evidence. We need to understand shark and ray population dynamics, how many sharks and rays are being caught, and how they're being impacted, and by what. But that's no easy task. You can't simply count sharks in the oceans like you can with animals on land. That means digging into fisheries data, stock assessments, and trade. Let's take the shortfin mako as an example. The fastest shark species was speeding towards extinction due to overfishing. That, paired with its biology, made it extremely vulnerable. The scientific evidence showed that it had slow reproductive rates, reaching sexual maturity in their teenage years, and only giving birth to a few pups every 2 to 3 years. Now we have this evidence, we can go to the next stage of the cycle. This stage involves turning evidence into action, whether that's setting catch limits on how many sharks can be kept, banning harmful fishing practices, or changing fishing gear. And we're right there in the room, advocating for science-based policies and proposals and challenging decisions that put profits ahead of sustainability. Let's get back to our shortfin mako. We know decades of overfishing, coupled with its slow reproductive cycle, have left it critically endangered. So, what can be done at this stage? Well, the Shark Trust, with our No Limits campaign and working with a coalition of partners in 2022, secured a prohibition on the retention of shortfin mako in the North Atlantic. This meant that all shortfin makos that were caught needed to be released back into the ocean. And in 2023, catch limits were secured for South Atlantic shortfin makos. A rule is only good if it is enforced, like a speed limit without speed camp. That's why the third stage, implementation, is critical. We help ensure governments know their obligations, that fishers are informed, and that regulations are properly enforced. One thing that really helps? Access to the latest information. Shark Trust Fisheries Advisories provide easy access to shark and ray regulations, helping fishermen and enforcement officers in identifying species and improving compliance. Fisheries management is complex, but when we get it right, everyone wins. Shark populations thrive, ecosystems recover, and communities that depend on the ocean have a future. It is essential that oceanic sharks and rays are kept in the spotlight, that their management is continuously refined and more effectively implemented. By supporting the Big Shark Pledge, we can use collective action to hold governments and industry to account, to ensure oceanic sharks and rays, like our shortfin mako, are put firmly on the road to recovery.